In the Gospel of John, we read, Mary Magdalene stood weeping outside the tomb, and as she wept, she stooped to look into the tomb, and she saw two angels in white, sitting where the body of Jesus had lain, one at the head and one at the feet. They said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not know where they have laid him." Having said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing, but she did not know that it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" Supposing him to be the gardener, she said to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Aramaic, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Do not cling to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary Magdalene went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord." Such a beautiful gospel. Mary Magdalene at the tomb of Christ is weeping. She kneels at the tomb and weeps in her humanness. And when he speaks to her, she does not recognize him. "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom do you seek?" She does not recognize his voice until he calls her name, Mary. Only when his divine voice speaks her name, only when the touch is personal, only then does she recognize him. He does not address her as woman. He calls her intimately by name, Mary. He reaches her in this very personal and intimate calling of her name, as she had reached out to him intimately and personally when she lavishly anointed his feet and dried them with her hair. She knows that it is he, risen, because she recognizes the beautiful sound of his voice calling her name. She knows his voice. Look at the courage and the strength we see in her. At first, thinking that Jesus is the gardener, she says boldly, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." I will take him away. No one will have to help her. She alone will take him away. She does not say, "Sir, tell me where you have laid him, and and I will go and get some of the other disciples to help me, and we will take him away. No. She says, I will take him. She needs no one's help to do this. Her strength is born of her great love for him. And so, too, it is from where our strength in this life must come. It must and it will come from our love for him, who has first loved us with an everlasting love. Because of his divine love, because of his desire for divine intimacy with each one of us, we rise above our humanness, our struggles, our challenges, our sorrows. We rise above our own personal story, whatever it is, and we are made new. We are transformed in him by the divine light and love that is given to us in him. And because of this divine intimacy with Christ, we come to be more than we could ever comprehend ourselves to be. We become his beloved ones. And because of this, we come to do for him alone more than we could ever dream possible. Mary Magdalene was in great need of healing. She was in need of God's divine touch that would restore her lost innocence. She needed his healing hands upon her to clear her mind of all the doubts, the fears, the worries, the anxieties, the confusion that had indeed taken possession of her and was seeking to poison her spirit and keep her in darkness. His healing hands restored her to her original beauty and grace. His healing hands brought her out of the darkness and into the radiance of his light and his love. Her healing was complete. It was spiritual, it was physical, it was emotional. Her healing brought her to an intimate, yes, intimate and very, very personal love for God in and through the touch of Jesus Christ. Yes, Mary Magdalene knew the very personal sound of his voice when he spoke her name on the morning of the resurrection. What is so very beautiful is that in her need for healing, in her need to be released from the torment that was taking possession of her, Jesus comes to her. He meets her in the sorrows of her life because he knows how much she needed his healing touch. He came into her life with love and with healing. And she allowed his divine love to free her of all her afflictions. He restored her to fullness of life, allowing her to be all that she was ever created to be. And so it is with each one of us. Jesus knows each one of us by name. And he comes to meet us exactly where we are, in our woundedness, in our tears, in the often very difficult realities of our daily lives. He knows us, and he calls us by name, just as he called the name of Mary Magdalene. The healing hands of Christ alone can restore us to the truth of who we are, the truth of all that we are called to be and to do in this life. In him and in his love alone, we are made whole. He only asks that we open our minds and our hearts to receive his healing love, as did Mary of Magdala. At this beautiful time of Easter, may our love for God in Jesus Christ be like unto hers, like Mary Magdalene. And like her, may we go forth to bring his healing light and his love into this world. And who will help us to do it? Yes, of course, we know who. Another Mary, Mary, our mother, our beautiful mother of perpetual help. She brings us to him because she wants us more than any other to be all that God has ever created us to be, and to live this life in his love, in his peace, and in his truth. For the gift of our mother of perpetual help, may we be ever thankful to our God, and may we come to love him with everything that is in us.